Just going in to show you a little bit of what's up. I've got a flashlight going here. Not that the garage is that dark. Just a highlight. Been working on this front firewall and battery cell section here. And I'm just going to walk right in here. Oh, fuck. I fell. I'm just showing you what I'm doing and splicing in this area right here. And when I do this kind of area right along here, I use a system where I've taken the old one out. This is all going to get rebonded right back up in here. Some fill pieces. Reason I took the old one out was simply because the whole sill was just rusted. There was nothing left of it. So I had a donor car. And when I took it out of the donor car. And what I do along this particular position right here is I take the old one out, fit the new one in, and then I go along and I actually use oxyacetylene, and I do a very fine heat weld. There's a piece of rod right there. Just a real fine heat weld. As you can see, I use my little MIG and I spot it here and there, and this is where the way I start it. And then later on I go along and I do a very, very, very slow, fine heat weld. You can see I got a little bit right in here. That's going to go over again. But I've got this done down along here. I've got to fill this one here. Then I've got to do some patching. I'll put a little piece in here. But this has all been filled along here. Along here. That's just a little weld overlap. I've got to do some grinding there, and I'll do some fill. But that's all a new seam all up through here. That's a butt weld seam all in through there. And then I'll go and I'll do some patching and filling and bring these pieces all in together. I've got to do a pushback, and I'll just spot that temporarily with the MIG, and then make little pieces to fill this void back in. As you can see right down here, I've got the whole fender well taken off. I've got a patch, I've got a piece in here, cut that out. I've got some butt welding in here, got some patching to do in here and down here, and then I'll make up a new piece that'll taper down with a new driver's side kick plate, and slowly strip it down as I go. As you can see, that's filled pretty crappy. I'm going to grind most of that one out. That didn't turn out too good. It's just, you get just the right heat, you get just the right temp, and you're allowed to fill it just using rod and make it old torch. It's sort of takes a lot of time, but in my case, it's the way I like to fill it, just so I can put that sill back in a nice tight one, because this wheel well is coming off as well. As you can see, this one's gone. What I'm doing is I'm using the frame basically as my guide. This frame's coming out of this shell, but because that frame up there is going in and it's complete, but I use the old frame and I just mark down what it had as far as shims off the supports. I just leave them in, so when I put the new wheel wells in, then it comes out together, because there's wheel wells I'll be using. They're off a cut down TR that I've taken apart simply because I knew they were in pretty good condition. There's the old wheel well, and you can see just how trashed it was. It's just as easy for me to put these new ones in. When this one goes in, obviously the whole car is going to get all new floor panels, and I'll just cut this off pretty much horizontally right underneath there and patch these pieces before it goes in, and see what I can see about it here. Just so much old tar and my chisel from scraping, but that's where I'll salvage it, because I think these doors will probably go on it. These doors are in good shape, hardly any sill damage whatsoever, and anybody needs a 75 sixer motor, it's only got 90-odd thousand K or miles, God knows what. It's in decent shape. No oil pressure problems. It's just sitting there. It still has the air pump, still fully functional. And I've taken a couple parts off it simply because I needed them over time. But it's got the later air pump alternator mount setup, and somebody's gone on and went with a little piece of yellow paint, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, that's a tough one to figure out, but someone in the past has done it. But that's where this thing is going through, because once the front firewall is finished up, you can see over here that I've already got that kick plate in. And once this kick plate's in, that gives me a guide, really, as because the door pillars are in good shape. Then I'll start piecing in the rocker and the front rocker extension and the clips. And I'll change the whole outer rocker. Before I do that, though, I'm going to find a good cut point right at the seam, right in here, and right at the back, to save as much as I can for the pillar posts. And I've got some patching to do back here. This door frame is good, or door catch. We've got to do some patching in behind, and I'll cut these right out, or do what I can to patch them. I'll put the new rockers in. I was just sizing it up to see how that can go in, and what's the best route to get it finished. And cut the seams down along the tranny tunnel. And once I've got the new front firewall sections put in, then the floor, I'll cut this floor out and that floor out. There's the old battery sill and the firewall. You can see why I took it out. It's just chewed. There's no way saving that, or no reason to save it if I can just go and patch in a new one, or a much better one. But the door post and the hinge posts, once this is all set up, I'll put a divider in there, just tack in a piece of rod. It gives me my decent clearance and separation as far as the width, the true width. Then once that's in, then I can cut the door floors out along the tunnel and patch that in. And the reason I leave it on the old frame is because I use the old frame as a reference. And then once it's all finished up, then I take it off the old frame, and I might be able to patch this frame up. You can see there's been some major damage done in here, old rot on the front lower A-frame. It's pulled right off. It's just torched. But this was just another shell I picked up simply because it was a 69. But, it's coming along pretty good, and slowly buff it all out, clean it all out. Oh, and there's my cedar. I use the cedar for shimming doors. I do a lot of door hanging, and slowly do the fender wells and see how it goes together. And if I have to, I can salvage pieces off my new fenders. I've got the new floor panels up there. But well, there's the 69 chassis. It's all finished up, so it's just waiting. I'm just hoping for better weather so I can roll it out of the shop and free up some floor space, and I can get the other one in and put it up there and get it out of the snow. It's just hideous to do that to my cars. It's not fair.